Good morning. My name's Wenz. I'm with Blockade Australia. I'm taking action today on the stolen lands of the Bidjigal people, and I'm taking action against our government's inaction on climate. The Australian government has been actively blocking climate action and fueling climate denialism for the last few decades, and this has caused us to live in catastrophic futures, and we need to do whatever we can to get in the way to stop this extractive system from doing what it's doing. Taking action at the Port of Botany today. As you can see, it's a beautiful morning. Everyone's slowly waking up. I'm suspended off a bridge above the rail corridor, the 3 tracks leading into and out of all of the terminals of Port Botany. I'm hanging off Botany Road. Police are here, and I've done this today with Blockade Australia because I see this as the most meaningful way forward to create the radical systemic change that we need, that we all need to continue living on this continent. For the last 250 years, Australia has exploited and destroyed everything in its path, and it will continue to do so until we have nothing left. We can see this every day. We can see this through our environment and our surroundings being destroyed, our forests being cut down after bushfires where 3 billion people die. We can see this in the Great Barrier Reef, where Australia has, pushed to water down the watering of how severe the Great Barrier Reef is in the IPCC report, and yesterday we find that there's the 6th mass bleaching on the way. We can see this through countless things where Australia puts effort in and deliberately blocks climate action because it has more interest in its fossil fuel economies, and that's going to kill us all, and we all know that, and we need to do whatever we can as soon as possible to make sure that we have as much of a safe future for the rest of this century and for the rest of the time on this planet. So today I'm hanging off this sit. I don't know if you can see. It's pretty comfortable. There's a big Port Botany sign in the background, and the port, and there's no trains. So my actions, one person has successfully stopped the rail network for the time while I'm here. I feel safe. I feel that this is a very useful allocation of my time, and I think this is a very responsible response to the climate crisis and the way that traditional kind of methods of protesting and other things like that simply just don't work. So taking direct action like this is a more meaningful way to make change. We have been able to get international news over the last week. We are able to have our voices heard, and there are lots of people that support us, and you can see this through all of the legals and all of the effort that goes into this. People do care. They are just tied down because of the government's threats and inaction and inability to make any radical change. So for those of you just joining, I'm hanging off Botany Road, off the bridge, and I'm suspended above the main train lines that go in and out of the port. I'm going to Abseil down a little bit because I think they might be coming to get me soon. Alright, as you can see, I'm a little bit lower now. They are pulling me up, but I do have some other resources at hand that I might get out now as well, just to be safe. Just gonna get some glue out and then drop something on my head, which isn't the most promising thing. Alright, I'm still here. Put this bag back on. I might have to put this stream away if it gets a little bit too risky. I'm going to glue onto the bridge. But we've got people down here. It's a lovely morning. I'm taking action today on the stolen land of the Bidjigal people. Their sovereignty was never ceded. They did not agree for Australia to do this to this beautiful country. Australia came here around 250 years ago and has relentlessly caused environmental damage and exploitation of its people from day one. And we are in the firing line. We'll all be next. And it will continue to do exactly what it's doing until there aren't any forests left and there's nothing worth protecting. So we may as well protect right now when there's still something here, get together and collectively do what we can to keep Australia in its path. We've got an event coming up in Sydney in June 27. We're going to shut down the centre of the Australian economical hub, political hub, cultural hub. We're going to cause mass disruption and create a crisis around the environmental disasters that are happening. And creating a crisis around those disasters, a political crisis, enables that decision, those concepts and that awareness to be able to be opened up for radical change. And we need radical change to survive. So we need to do whatever we can. We need systemic change. That's why I'm here today, because climate crisis is a systemic issue. Systems that are built on exploiting this continent, systems that rely on destroying and cutting up and burning and shipping and polluting, systems that will not exist without that. It's impossible to imagine them without that. So, we need that to be gone in order to have a safe future. And, that's what I'm doing here today. I'm trying to make the case as Blockade Australia, for Blockade Australia. So I'll just show you around a little bit. There's lots of people on site already. They're pretty quick to get here, but they didn't manage to catch us, which is pretty nice to know. Yeah. All of this, what you see here, is industries, corporations, billionaires profiting off destroying the little that we have to survive. A small percentage of the wealth in this country makes all the decisions, blocks all the climate action, decides what we do. Thousands of people slave away to make that happen while they're actually actively killing themselves in the future. We don't have enough time to wait for electoral politics. We don't have enough time to do a slow transition or try green capitalism. We don't have another 100 years to experiment with our options and wait for technology. We have, a 30-year maximum turnaround to absolutely, stop emissions today and try to do whatever we can to keep the environment that we have growing and prospering, or we're not going to survive the catastrophic events that are coming. Feedback loops, hothouse earth, if you don't know these terms, look them up on the internet. Feedback loops are loops that, like in the Amazon, when after a certain amount of the Amazon is burnt, it turns into like an ongoing cycle where it will just keep burning because the atmosphere becomes too hot because too many trees are burnt. There's not enough trees left on this planet, on the lungs of this planet, and we end up with feedback loops like that. Once enough ice caps start melting, they accelerate and they just continue to melt, and we don't get them back. We don't get them back no matter what technology we implement in the next 100 years. The only way to save and to have them and to know that we have a safe future to live in without going to a different planet and, you know, as some billionaires suggest is their exit route, which will not suffice for most of the people on this planet, is to stop destroying it and look after what we have and take radical action and cause systemic change. Because the people people with power, they simply won't do it. They're invested, their lives are built on fossil fuels, exploiting and destruction and exploitation of labor, exploitation of goods. You know, everyone who's working here is at the hands of mercy of those people with power that are letting property, are valuing property over life. You know, we give property, things, objects, inanimate objects, more value than human and animal life. So there's going to be a crisis in the future, severe environmental crises. We can cause a political crisis right now, and we have a chance to do whatever we can to make that not as severe and look after ourselves and our futures. I mean, you know, this system, it rewards and incentivizes those who keep destroying, those who keep plundering. It gives incentives and, you know, to mining billionaires. It pays them to keep doing what they're doing, gives them subsidies, tax subsidies. And the people who try and defend it, the people with the grassroots, the people who care about the future of the planet, they get locked up. They're the ones doing the crimes. Here we go, some fun people on site having a good morning on the tracks, blocking trains with me. It's good to see. Everyone's here for the big spectacle. What a morning. Well, there's a few info talks coming up in the next few weeks. I can't remember the exact dates, but look on our Facebook. We will be doing talks around, Blockade Australia will be doing talks around this continent to get people ready for Sydney and exactly how we can resist that. So I've got a climber up here. I might put this live stream away for 1 second. Still in my pocket, but right now, I've got a big climber above me. So I might just let people on the stream know when it's probably a good time to turn it off.
There you go, mate.
I mean, I'm good, thanks. At Port Botany.
Yep,
There's people lowering themselves down onto my
going,
line.
Quicker.
Yep, I guess I'll tune out, and thanks for listening. Hopefully let's take some action together soon and see you in Sydney.
Alright, brother, mate. We obviously want